Hello, my lovely, lovely, lovely friends. Welcome back to my channel. This is Jan of Jan Hicks Creates, and I have a channel about stitching and knitting. Yeah, those are the main things, mostly cross stitch. I am so glad that you are here. So many thanks to those of you that are returning and that have stuck with me through all of the insanity. And welcome to those who may be new subscribers. I am glad you're here. I hope you enjoy what I show you, what I talk about. My videos are filled with creative goodness, as well as, I hope, a bit of laughter. I usually laugh at myself multiple times. Feel free to laugh along with me. I have no problem with that. So I'm going to be doing a StitchCon recap. I'm going to be catching you up with my knitting as well, and the other stitching I've done since I saw you last, which has been a couple of weeks at least. I am going to be sharing with you some thoughts on our trip back and forth across the country. You've already seen the videos at the front of the video, so I'll talk a little bit about that. If you are not a subscriber, I hope that you enjoy my style enough to subscribe. And join me here weekly, not weekly. I never get these done weekly anymore. Usually bi-weekly though, give or take a few days. But yeah, I hope you'll subscribe and stay with me for a little while. There are many of you who have stayed with me through all the journey over the past 4 years, 4.5 years now. So I thank you for that. I'm going to start though on something not StitchCon, because this is a gift that I need to just say thank you and give it its due, because it's just amazing. And that is this quilt that you see behind me. This came from a follower named Ann Pitt. I have her letter here from me, so I'm going to read the letter first. I have her letter here in front of me. I'm going to read from this first, and then I'll show you more of the quilt. This came as a total surprise. She says, so she sent a box which included a giveaway, and I do have that for the giveaway today. It also included this quilt. I was in tears, overwhelmed. She says, enclosed you will find a cross-stitch kit for your giveaways and a surprise. Okay, so it's a quilt. When I start some quilts, there's no plan as to where it will find a home. While working on the blocks, I get a sign as to where or to whom it will go. Hope this does not sound weird, but your mom asked me to send this one your way. So Anne obviously has been with me for a long time. She knows that I lost my mother very young. She was 54 when she died. That was 1992. I was 27, 28, somewhere around in there. She was my best friend. So it was, she died of liver cancer. So Anne knew that, obviously, and knew that I had a close bond with my mother. And, yeah, let me show you the quilt. So blocks, I'm sure there's a name for whatever block this is. This is a 5x5 block by the looks of it. All kinds of beautiful, beautiful fabrics, fun fabrics. I have a couple of quilt or project bags that she made for me out of some of these fabrics. This one in particular, there's some Christmassy fabrics in here. Lots of seaside type fabrics. Gorgeous, gorgeous fractal. It's like she knows me or something. Look at this owl. Isn't that owl wonderful? So just so many beautiful fabrics. And then she bound it with this gorgeous kind of rainbow, I don't know whether you can see that, rainbow colored fabric. And then the back of it is these beautiful turquoises with these sea turtles on them. And it's, I don't know that it's velvet, but it's soft like velvet. It feels like velvet. It is stunning. And the quilting that she did on it is all seashells. Again, it's like she knows me or something. So this was a total shock. Just amazed, amazed, amazed. Anne, that you would do this for me and send it to me. We are going to find a special place to display it so that it gets the attention that it deserves. Again, thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is the statement that you're going to hear a lot from me today because StitchCon. Let me back up first and say the trip across was amazing. So on this drive, we went a little bit south, down south of Jackson and across Wyoming, over into Nebraska. We drove across Nebraska. We drove across Iowa. We drove across part of Illinois when we were starting to get, so we were further north, right? When we started to get close to Chicago, we cut south around Indianapolis and then over into Cincinnati, into Ohio. Fantastic drive. I did drive a good chunk of the way. I tried to split it with Mike as much as possible so he could get work done while we were on the road. I have to say, and I say it every time, I know, we live in a beautiful country. I know a lot of people find driving across those states and all the farmland kind of boring. I thought it was beautiful. Nebraska and Iowa with the rolling hills and farmland that looks so lush, green fields. It's amazing to me how much of this country is still farmland. You see that when you're driving across it. I just loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And of course, all the storms that have been rolling across have certainly helped it to be green like that. We saw a colony of prairie dogs along the highway as we were going through Alaska. That would be a road trip, one that we plan on doing someday, across Nebraska. Just sitting up, watching the cars go by. Prairie dogs. Didn't get any video of them. We saw antelope and deer. You know, that's phrase in the song where the deer and the antelope play. Yep, we saw it. Cows, lots of cows. I just thought it was beautiful. So Cincinnati, we arrived there just as a major storm was heading that way. We drove into Ohio and to the campground in pouring rain, got set up in the campground, and about a half hour later, I had gone to get a shower. I was going to meet Carolyn for dinner that night, and a tornado siren started going off. There was a tornado warning for that part of Ohio. So, didn't go through. I know it did touch down somewhere not too far from where the campground is. Our campground was about a half hour from this convention center, so I did have that drive back and forth. But yeah, that was a fun way to get started in Cincinnati. But the rest of the weekend was fantastic. I think that storm blew out any of the heat and humidity. It was a perfect weekend in the 70s. I think a little more rain happened on Saturday, but it was just gorgeous. Not hot at all. Carolyn and I went out to lunch and were able to sit outside at this cute cafe called the Already Cafe, just down the street from Keepsakes. For those that may not know who are new here, the Carolyn I refer to is Carolyn Zook. She is C Zook Stitch, C as the letter C, Zook her last name, Stitch, on YouTube and on Instagram. She also has a Facebook group called the, Carolyn, I'm going to get the name wrong, Monthly Magazine Challenge group. I'll put that information down below. So the idea is that, we have all these magazines, we see things that we want to stitch and we never get around to it. She has challenges in that group to help you actually do those. So that is awfully fun. So I will put that information below. Anyways, Carolyn was one of my table mates, as well as Julie Dixon. I think it's CJ's Stitching Corner. Candy Kerr, who is is it the 619 Stitcher? Andrea Schultz and Becky Poole. They all were my table mates, and they were fantastic, and they put up with all of my insanity. All right, let's talk StitchCon. Now, let me say first up front, I did not get nearly the amount of videos done as I did when I went to StitchCon in 2019. I was overwhelmed. I got the brag table. I missed the back wall of the brag table. There was so much things on the main brag table. People started to put them on other tables in the opposite side of the room, and I never did get over there to film those. I want to apologize to those that have pieces there. Anyways, the brag table video I am going to put at the end of this one. And I really encourage you, if you don't want to watch through like all of my haul section or whatever, I encourage you to jump ahead and look at the video of the brag table, because it is astounding. So much talent in that room. So many beautiful pieces. Somebody made the comment that when you sit and think of the number of hours that made up all that stitching, it's kind of overwhelming. Again, overwhelming is going to be a common word for me. So anyways, I did not get very much filming of StitchCon in general done at all, because I had a trunk show at StitchCon. So as you can see, my wall behind me is a little bare. I've rearranged things so some of the things that are usually on the fringes are getting center stage, because my models are in the Annex at StitchCon. The exclusive design, the secret design that I had, that I talked about in my last video, is an exclusive for StitchCon, and I will put a photo of that in here to remind you. Well, actually, you didn't even get to see the finished piece, so let me put a photo in here. I don't have the finished piece to show you because it is at the trunk show. So yeah, this was the StitchCon exclusive. It did sell out on weekend A. I had to order more. I had to order more of several other designs that hadn't sold out, but were getting low enough that we needed to get more for weekend B. Just absolutely grateful, amazed, stunned, just over the moon at the support and love my patterns were shown, my designs were shown at StitchCon. It was a success. And weekend B is still happening. This is Friday of weekend B, so I hope that people there are enjoying my designs as well. Yeah, I was nervous. I was worried. You know, I kind of have you guys as my audience for a number of years now, and you have certainly loved and accepted my designs since I started designing. But kind of going out into a wider audience at something like StitchCon, being a newbie at it, I was nervous. I was worried. I needn't have been. Barbara laughed at me, and that's okay. So yeah, just thrilled with how well patterns sold. So the exclusive, I will be putting that up in all the different outlets that sell my patterns, but not till it's done at StitchCon. And then Barbara is actually going to be keeping my trunk show for another event that she's having, and I'm not sure when that is happening, but she will be keeping the patterns in the trunk show. It's all my paper patterns. So I will keep this design. It's called Stitch Happiness. It will remain exclusive until basically I receive it back, the model back from Barbara. And then I will be putting it up online and, in all the different places. If you are interested in getting hold of a paper pattern sooner rather than later, because I really don't know when I'm going to be getting that back and when all that's going to happen, then I encourage you to get in touch with Barbara at Keepsakes, or just get in touch with Keepsakes. After weekend B, StitchCon is over. It is exclusive for them until StitchCon is over, which is on Sunday. So that is Sunday the, let's see, 17th, 18th, Sunday the 19th. After that, if you would like to grab one of those paper patterns, if there's still any available, give Keepsakes a call and you can order it through them. So yeah. The other thing that was amazing for me about StitchCon was, again, the acceptance. Oh, let me say, the acceptance of my patterns, the love of my patterns. Meditation Garden is another huge one that sold amazingly well. For those that may be new that might not be familiar with it, again, I will put a picture of that in here. There is a group of people from StitchCon who are doing a stitch along for it. They were over the moon about it. I am over the moon because they are over the moon. So Garden Sal started like the day after StitchCon. I will put the hashtag down below if you would like to go onto Instagram and do a search on that hashtag to see what people are doing. But basically, I think they have it separated into, was it 6 parts or 12 parts, ladies? I forget. But they have it all separated out for, I think it's like a year-long stitch along. So, like I said, I will put that information below and you can get in touch with the ladies who are organizing this. And I'll put their tags below too, so you know who to talk to if you're interested in joining a stitch along for Meditation Garden. I loved hearing just how that pattern spoke to so many of you. I told you whenever you talked to me about it, is that it's not one I thought I didn't know that people would like it as much as I did, basically. So to know that it really touched a lot of people is just, again, it's just thrilling. The other thing that happened that just amazed me is all the people that wanted my signature on the patterns. Now, you know, it's been what, a couple of years that I've been designing, but my name hasn't gotten out there as much, right? It's just been pretty much my own little corner of the cross stitch world. So, again, to see all the love and acceptance has been just amazing. I was overwhelmed though. It was 3 days of just constant, and this is why I really didn't get much filmed. You know, I would get a couple stitches in and somebody would come up and talk to me, and I'd get a few more stitches in and somebody else would come up and want me to sign their pattern. I'd run over to the shop and look for something, and I was standing in line, and it was just, there was constant interaction, which is what StitchCon is about, right? It's about that community and the love and the sharing and seeing what everybody else is doing. It's just amazing. But I was exhausted by the end of it every day. I mentioned that I had a half-hour drive back to the campground, and that turned out to be a really good thing. In the evenings or late afternoons, I would drive back to the campground and have that time to kind of decompress. I would eat dinner with Mike, because he was staying at the trailer working all day while I was at StitchCon. Then he would drive back with me and just kind of hang out until StitchCon was over for the evening. I told him I really wasn't comfortable driving back at 9:30 at night after the days that were just exhausting me. So of course, you know, he takes care of me, so it's all good. I'm going to insert a video here of some of the interaction. I wish I had done more of this, but, you know, it is what it is. I did stop at table 8 as I was starting to kind of I filmed the room a little bit to give you a feel for the scope of it. The time of the day that I was filming, I think it was probably lunchtime-ish. It was still pretty empty. I don't think, maybe it was earlier in the morning. I don't remember. But the room was still pretty empty. So it gives you the feel of the size of the room, but maybe not how full it was. But anyways, I stopped at one of the tables, table 8, and just had them show you what they were working on. So I will insert that here. Say hi, ladies. Hi.
Hi.
You're gonna be on a floss tube.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Do you want to share what you're stitching?
I will get Sam's fairly started.
Oh, is this a new start at StitchCon?
It's a new start. It's
Oh, perfect.
I love berries.
Very good. Perfect for StitchCon. What do you have going? I have to say, I noticed your fabric when I was over here. Oh, it's a drawn thread. What fabric is this?
It's a fiber on a whim.
It's gorgeous.
It really is pretty. I'm very, very pleased with it.
And a wonderful drawn thread. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do you want to show?
Sure.
Awesome.
I just started yesterday.
Oh, holy cow, you've actually been stitching. What a concept. That's gorgeous. Oh. Yeah.
So,
Is that one of the kits? One of the Circle of Friends kits?
no,
No.
but it came with,
Okay,
it
the
came
wolf
with
at the
everything.
top.
Yeah, it came with everything, so.
It's some kind of something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is so pretty. Do you remember what fabric that is?
It is Weeks Parchment.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful stitching.
So it's going to be pretty, I think.
Yes. Have you done any drums before? Have you finished?
Yes.
Do you? Wonderful. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day. Happy StitchCon.
Thank you. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. That's just a minuscule taste of what StitchCon looks like. Those ladies got more stitching done than I did. I will be showing you what I started with Carolyn here in a minute. All right, so before I go further, I do want to mention one more thing that is not StitchCon related. I would like to pull our attention back to Ukraine just for a minute. I think we are all still aware and watching and have it in the back of our minds how important our support is. I think many of us see Ekaterina, Stitchy Princess Black's posts both on Instagram and on various Facebook groups, letting us know how she's doing and how important our support of her designs are. And we really are helping to feed, I think, her family and provide them with what they need. I also wanted to highlight for you another woman. Her name is Julie. She lives in the Dallas, Texas area. I have talked about her before. She is the one, her Etsy shop is Wood Wool Stories. She is the one that makes these beautiful, beautiful things. If you remember, I got these a few months ago. She reached out to me last week and asked me to just say a word again about, and I will put the link to her Etsy shop below if you feel moved to buy any of her things. And again, to support any of the Ukrainian designers. Julie's mother still lives in Ukraine, as does a lot of her family. And so she does send what she can, not only to help them, but also to help other Ukrainian war efforts. So I just wanted to bring our minds back to Ukraine for a minute and remind you of how important it is to keep as much support going as we can for them. Talk to you a little bit about my stitching, both pre-StitchCon and during StitchCon, because this is also kind of a catch-up thing. I'm going to show you the knitting that I've been doing, both pre-StitchCon and on the drive back and forth from StitchCon. And then we'll have the goodies from StitchCon and haul. So we have a long way to go yet. Okay. I'm going to start with my next design. Hold on. If you remember, if you've been with me for a little while, I showed you that pillow that I saw at a home store, Ashley's home store, that I said had to become a cross stitch pattern. So I designed that and I started stitching that during the week before we left for StitchCon. And I didn't iron anything. but this is what I have for that so far. So I am using the Cottage Garden threads in this. This is obviously the pink colorway. I do have a model stitcher, Rachel Lasky. Hi, Rachel. Who is stitching the green colorway. So I am going to have this charted for both the pink and the green colorway. Again, the green is in the Cottage Garden threads. Now, one thing that we found, both Rachel and I, as we started to stitch this, is that there is a lot of similarity and overlap in these colors as they move through the skein. I wanted that to a certain degree because the pillow that is the inspiration for this has a lot of like distressed and faded areas. So that's the look that I was going for. And I'm happy with how it worked out for the most part. You can see that really in this area of the center medallion. Some of it was a little too much though. So I'm working with Rachel to kind of modify the pattern a bit to get more separation so that you can see the colors flowing, but so that they don't become too muddied and mottled that you can't see the actual design. I am about 25% done with this at this point, so this is a big one. So yeah, it's going to be a little while yet before that's done. Hold please. I also have on the docket is a new reproduction sampler. And this kind of falls under the haul part, but I want to stick it in here because it's going to have some, it's going to interrupt my stitching of the pillow piece. This is an antique Spanish sampler again with cat hair on it. It's gorgeous. So the name on it is Antonia Rosel y Garcia, año 1886. You can see there's on the alphabet down here, there's the tilde on the N. I think that's the only place. Wait, I think she put a Y someplace in one of the alphabets in place of the double L. Oh yeah, she put it in that same alphabet. So right there. Anyways, I met with Vicki Clayton at StitchCon. She drove over because she wanted to meet Vina Parikar, who is in from Iceland. Vina is goes back with Vicki a long time from her forum and when she was selling the silks before. And so Vina was coming from Iceland to StitchCon, so Vicki wanted to drive across and meet her, and so I met with them too. Vicki brought me silks to stitch this, so this will be charted in her silks, and it is going to be charted in the colors on the front, which is the faded colorway, as well as the colors on the back, which is the bright colorway. And I think you can probably see the difference, especially in the purples and greens. Aren't those gorgeous? So anyways, I will be, I have a few more of you that offered to model stitch for me. I will be reaching out to one of you to help me stitch whichever one of the colorways I decide I don't want to. So I'm going to stitch one of them and I'll be asking one of you to stitch another one. I plan on starting to chart that next week while still working on the Palace of the Winds. That's the pillow one. Getting that stitched up. So that is my design things. Oh, the other design thing is Carolyn's fault. Carolyn asked me to design something that has hot air balloons. So I have my head spinning. I got some threads. It's going to be an autumn palette. So yeah, look for something with hot air balloons and Quakers down the road a bit. Before I started working on Palace of the Winds, I worked a little bit more on Funky Flowers. So this is 56 count Reindeer by XG Design, and the threads are Silks, Soie Surfine, and 103 that I'm just picking that aren't quite the same as what is called for, but kind of similar. So this again, I am stitching with Carolyn. This was our beginning of May or first day of spring. One of those. New start. Carolyn is stitching this on 28 count. She brought hers with her to StitchCon, and I took mine with me so that we can compare them to see what the size difference looked like. And I'm going to insert that video here.
Was it 28? 56.
Okay. 28.
28. Give me a smile.
Wasn't that fun to see? The difference is just, it's just kind of crazy. Before I left, I also finished release 5 of Heartfelt from Fat Quarter Shop. So we just have one more release to do. This is the charity stitch along that Fat Quarter Shop sponsors every year. The donations, the chart is free, but they ask that you make a donation, and the donations are to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of South and Central Texas. And I believe they weren't quite at their goal yet. So if you are doing this and you haven't donated yet, what are you waiting for? It is a fantastic cause, and it is a great little project. So one more month, and this one will be done. I am stitching this on 40 count Mayflower by Fox and Rabbit, and the color conversion, it's all over dyed flosses. You can find my conversion on my website. I have a color conversion page there at madforyarn.com. I don't know where to put all these things. I have so many piles around me. Okay, StitchCon New Start. Carolyn and I started with the Needle 2 by Leela's Studios. So I started on this square up here. Carolyn started on the flowers, on the flower vase. I did not start there because I looked at, I mean, it's pretty, but I looked at, so with the Needle 2, if you don't know, Leela's Olmsted is the designer. She had done, as the name probably implies, with the needle, she had done something similar. She felt she needed to update it, so she did with the Needle 2. So it's very similar with quite a few differences. One of the differences, well, the size is different. One of the differences are these side flower vases, flower pots. I like the one-on-one better. The main problem is that this, if I'm remembering correctly, this is 186 stitches tall, and the first one is 146 stitches tall. So there will be some addition that I need to do here. I decided to start here at the square and save these end pots for last. So, and I can get the first one from Leela's Etsy shop as a PDF. So that's what I will do. But what I plan on doing is doing the flower pots here from number 1, and I'll just have to add on like 40 stitches going up the side there to reach the top. So anyways, this is my start on that. And I have to say, I am really quite proud of how much I did get more stitching done at this StitchCon than I did the first one I went to in 2019. But I only got like 10 stitches done there. But it's actually rather amazing considering how much I had coming at me at this one. Andrea Schultz, I mentioned before, is one of my table mates. And she is a harsh taskmaster. So she has a belief the way she stitches and operates and starts things when she's starting different things, that you really need to have a healthy start on something in order to kind of be invested in it so that you're more likely to go back to it, right? So I kept asking her, Andrea, is this a healthy start? Andrea, is this a healthy start? And she just kept telling me no. And so I was serious. I was going to get Andrea's seal of approval. So I just kept working and working and working until I got enough done that she said, okay, I think you're invested enough in that you'll probably come back to it. So thank you. She's funny. This linen I'm stitching this on is 40 count Old North Church by Legacy Fiber Arts. It is, they have the fabric club that I'm in. I am using all the called for colors. No, I'm not. I lied. So I discovered, as I was getting ready to leave for StitchCon, I was going through, I'd gotten a bunch of the overdyed flosses. This calls for a lot of overdyed. It also calls for some DMC. So as I was going through getting and I had the overdyed flosses for a couple months, but I was going through making sure I had everything, and I hadn't pulled the DMC colors yet. And one of them was the sky, which is used a lot. So I actually pulled out one of my cottage garden threads for the sky, and I pulled out some Victorian motto. Whew, that was a grab from the past. Victorian motto sampler threads. I pulled out some of those for a couple of the ones that I was missing. So yeah, most of it's the called for floss, but not all of it. All right. So that was my StitchCon start. I'm quite proud of it. I do not know when I will get back to it, but I am invested in it, so I will be getting back to it. Thank you, Andrea. All right. Whoa. That one almost rolled off onto the floor. Okay, so there is all of that. I'm going to show you my knitting first before we move on. I'll be right back. Okay, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, in my last video, I was like 10 rows or maybe just the bind off away from finishing my Flutter Poncho. I have not blocked it yet. I've not woven in the ends yet, but the knitting is done. And I think it turned out gorgeous. I am very, very happy with it. I will be even happier when it's blocked. So I had a goal, or I guess I should say more my modus operandi when it comes to my knitting, is to finish whips that I have. I have bags of whips over there, and knitting is just like I have in stitching, is to finish a knitting whip before I start something new. I have had this sitting there for a number of years. This is the Las Cruces Cardigan by Laura Nelkin. I was pretty close to being finished. I had some of the major portions of this done, but I got off somewhere in my count. And at least I thought I had, and it went into timeout, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago, if not longer. When I pulled it back out, when I finished the Flutter Poncho, I couldn't find where the count was wrong, so I forged forward. So I got this done. Now, my problem is, do you see how that flips up there on the end? Right there. This is the front of the cardigan. This is a, hold on a second. Let me get out a skein. This is a silk and cotton. This is Serena by Manos del Uruguay. It's alpaca and cotton. It does not have the kind of stretch that you get. Here, this is the colorway. I believe Serena is discontinued. It does not have the kind of stretch that you get from wool. And so my cardigan, when I bound this off, do you see how that edge pulls up there? And so it will stretch some when I block it, but it's not going to stretch as far down as the rest of the cardigan, as the back. It's hard to show. What this means is that I'm going to have to undo. So the bind off goes the whole way around, up the front of the cardigan, around the back of the neck, and down the other side of the cardigan, the other side of the front. I'm going to undo that and look up a stretchy bind off and rebind it off, because when I wear it, that's going to those ends are just going to keep pulling up, and it will make me not want to wear it, and it's a pretty cardigan, so I have to fix that. So that was done, and then it wasn't done. But that didn't stop me from starting something new. So I showed you the kit that I got from Laura Nelkin's End Club in my last video. It was the pretty yellowy yarn. The pattern is called SoLite. It is a half pie shawl. What that means is a full pie is a circle. So half pie is a half circle. So this is going to go like this. This I worked on across the country and back. It is lace knitting. It has beads. I worked with the beads in a moving vehicle. This is called the cockle stitch. It is a Shetland lace stitch that Laura had learned how to put beads on. Laura is the queen of beading in lace knitting, in our opinion, our being those who are huge fans of Laura. So yeah, this is actually wrong in here. I read the pattern wrong. It should be just the beads on the ends, the end cockle stitches, each end, and then just plain cockle stitches in the middle, like these ones. Trying to get this all pulled out for you so you can see, like that one. So all the middle ones were supposed to not have beads because she didn't want it to get too heavy with too many beads. I read the pattern wrong. I have beads on every other cockle stitch over those 4 repeats. It's not that heavy. But yeah, I did all that in the car. So I think I'm showing you the back. I am. So for this one, so I finished that section. I am on the last section, which is another lace section down here. I have about 40 more rows of this, I think, and this one will be done. So I'm trying to get an hour in now that I'm home and don't have hours and hours of stitching on the road. I'm going to try and get an hour in on this every day so I can get this done. So hopefully by the time I talk to you again, I will have that done. I will be starting, as soon as I get the yarn, a new pattern by one of my other favorite designers, Kitty Bee Knitting. It is another kind of summery poncho that will be knit using her yarn. She's also a yarn dyer, so she's working on getting that yarn dyed. I think she was hoping to have it ready by the beginning of July. So when I get that, I'll be starting that. All right, so that's my knitting world. Now, so many goodies. I think I'm going to do the giveaways first. So if you don't want to hang out for all of the haul and all of the goodies, you can go ahead and check out. But I do really encourage you to skip past all that if you're not interested and look at the part of the video where I have the brag table. You will love it. You'll be amazed. Okay. Hold please. So let me scroll down here. The cat hair in my mouth. What a surprise. Oh, that cat. Oh my God. She could not wait to get home. I have so many scratches on my legs, people, from that cat. anytime she was trying to get out of the footwell. She spent a lot of time sleeping in the footwell, which was fantastic. Good for her, good for us. It worked well. But if she like wanted to get out of there, she would come roaring up out of there. Not roaring, but, and I had shorts on. It was hot. My legs, she would catch my legs with her claws as she was coming out. Oh my God. Anyway, giveaways. Last week, we had the pink bag. This is going to Edith McClanahan. Edith says, I would store my cross stitch in my bag with a quilt pattern, and I do quilt. I tried silks for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I really like them. So that is going to Edith. The cut press sew pattern, I asked you if you quilt. This is going to Ray Ann O'Neill. Ray Ann said, I would put my Lori Hole cross stitch in the bag. I do quilt. I piece, then free motion quilt my own pieces. She doesn't say anything about silk in here. Oh no, that's this one. Oh my God. Have a blast at StitchCon. Blessings. Okay, so Rayanne, you are getting this design, this pattern. And then last one was the silk question. So it was this one, the winter into spring drawing quarter pattern. This one, I asked you if you had ever stitched with silk. And this one is going to Martha Abstein. She says, I love the pink bag and will store my spring patterns so that I would remember where I put them. That's a great idea, Martha. I have never stitched with silk, but would love the opportunity to try them out to see how they flow through the fabric. I have heard many stitchers say that they love the way silk stitches. So Martha, you're going to get to try that. All three of you, again, look for my email down in the description box and email me your addresses. And I will get these in the mail. Before I go into the giveaways for this video, I do want to address a comment that came up, I think a couple times in the comments in my last video. And that was that several of you kind of made a statement that you felt that you weren't ready for silk, or that you didn't have enough experience or weren't a good enough stitcher to stitch with silk. And I just want to say, bollocks. Now, okay, if you are brand new, maybe you've only stitched one or two things, I could see you wanting to hold off on silk because you want to get a feel for the flow of stitching, just in case you're messing things up still and have to take a bunch of stuff out. I get that. But if you've been stitching for a little while and just haven't tried silk because you were afraid that you weren't good enough, it's just like stitching with cotton. Yes, it feels better, it flows better, it is more expensive, so there is that to consider. But other than that, it's just like stitching with cotton. You might use a shorter length, but you don't have to, because most silks, like Vicky Clayton silk, they are such a high quality. You don't have to worry about it pilling as much as you might cotton or cheaper silks. Yeah, it's just the same. Give it a go. If you have an opportunity, don't be afraid of it. Give it a go. So that's all I have to say about that. All right. This week's giveaways. Excuse me. Again, apologies, many apologies, but they're only open to U.S. addresses. I hate having to say that, but the reality is I have to say that. All right, the first one is two of Fat Quarter Shop's patterns. Eat, Sleep, Stitch in celebration of StitchCon. And this is Beauty and Simplicity. It is one of the Prim Stitch series patterns. So if you're interested in this, I want you to tell me if you have been to StitchCon, and please use the word StitchCon in your reply. Next we have a Mirabilia. This is Caring Wings. I'll make sure you can see this. This is, let's see, my question for this is, who would you stitch this for? And I need you to say, I would stitch Caring Wings for. Make sure you use the title Caring Wings in your response. And then last but not least, this is the giveaway that Ann Pitt sent. So it is a Dimensions Gold kit. So you have the 18 count fabric. You have all the floss in here, the pattern, a needle. It is full coverage of this gorgeous woman in the garden. Do you see her shawl? Isn't that gorgeous? So if you are interested in winning this, my question for you is, what is your favorite flower in your garden? And I want you to be sure and use the word garden in your response. Right now, I have peonies blooming. I have gorgeous irises blooming. I have a dianthus mound, pink dianthus that's like huge. It needs to be divided too. I have roses starting to bud. I have raspberries. We're going to be getting rid of the raspberries. I have a columbine. I have several lilies. Just, I love seeing things bloom, in case you didn't know that about me. All right, so that's the giveaways. We're putting those over there. All right, guys. Now we have haul and StitchCon goodies. I have haul, just general haul from before and after we got home. You know, it's the mail that I opened when we got home, and the haul from Keepsakes and and the StitchCon Annex, and something I haven't mentioned yet. On the way home on our trip, we swung a little north and went into Wisconsin, and our first overnight stop was in Spring Green, which means shopping at the Country Sampler. What a gorgeous store. So Country Sampler, if you are not familiar with it, it is a quilt store, a cross-stitch store, and a home goods store, a home decor store. So you walk in and you have these vignettes that include beautiful home decor with cross-stitch decorating it, quilts. It's amazing. I have done a lot of video in the store, and I will be putting together those clips in a separate video of the Country Sampler. Gorgeous. So from there, let me talk a little bit more about our trip home from Wisconsin. Boy, it's amazing how quickly it becomes a blur. So Wisconsin, then up a little bit north, further north into Minnesota. We had an overnight stop in Minnesota, and then into South Dakota, the whole way across South Dakota, stopped at Rapid City for the night, and then down south into Du Bois, into Wyoming. We stopped at a little town called Du Bois, Wyoming, and from there up over the mountains into Jackson. So our last portion, we had a 3-hour drive from Du Bois, actually more like a 4-hour drive from Du Bois into Idaho Falls, seeing the Grand Tetons. So that was part of what you saw, the videos at the beginning of the video, was just that gorgeous drive back. And again, I'm sure a lot of people consider that portion of the country boring. The rolling green hills of South Dakota, of southern South Dakota, Mike and I were just constantly imagining them filled with bison. You know, back in the day when you just had bison herds everywhere. Just beautiful. All right. I don't know what to do. All right, I'm going to start here because it's close. There is a lovely woman on Instagram named Jan Holder. She makes beautiful project bags. I first saw her project bags when she was at the attic get-together a few months ago with several ladies. She had made some project bags for people, and I said, Jan, I want one. You order by messaging her on Instagram, I believe. I believe that's how you want her. She also has an email address. And I will put that information below. So she sent me two. I bought one of them and she sent me another one. The thing I absolutely love about her bags, so this one she pieced and then quilted. And then this one as just the fabric. Just the fabric. The thing I love about her bags is, if you've been with me for a length of time, you know that I prefer fabric bags over the vinyl because I'm an anti-plastic person. So we try and remove as much plastic as possible from our daily lives anyway. So I don't want plastic in my project bags. I don't want it touching my fabric. My whips sit in these bags for years, right? Some of them, a lot of them. So I just don't want my fabric sitting in that kind of situation, or my floss. Jan's bags are fabric. I don't know whether you can see that, fabric with a vinyl pocket on the outside. So that means I can have a pocket showing my pattern. I know what's in it, but my goodies are all protected within the fabric. She also, so this has this cool kind of fake gator vinyl on it, as well as a nice, and this is a thick, high quality vinyl that she uses that is a glitter vinyl. I don't know whether the glitter's coming through at all. So this one has the vinyl pocket, this beautiful vinyl glittery stuff, and then, like I said, the fabric pocket for my goodies. So Jan Holder, highly, highly recommend if you are interested, if this kind of bag intrigues you. So like I said, I will be putting her information below. I also want to point out to you another maker, or a duo of makers. Their business name is Missy Lynn. They just have a Facebook group at this point, and again, I will put that information below. They make stitch mats for when you're going to retreats or sitting someplace and want to have a mat with all of your stuff on it. Gorgeous, beautiful selection of fabrics, quilting on it, little pockets and things, just gorgeous. They are just starting out, so I don't know how much they have to show yet on their Facebook page, but I will be putting, again, that information below if you would like to check that out. All right. I also, oops, that slid off there. Shoot. Some of the things I gave away, so I had my floss drops, and the floss drop exchange at StitchCon was like mind-blowing. My floss drops were of my Seasons of Lace. So I had 5 different colors, the 4 different seasons, and then one of the 4 altogether, the finished framed piece. And this is what I had on the back. But what I also got as a special extra gift is these Sajou thread winders, and I wound some Mrs. Sadis floss on them and gave these away to several people as well. I have these left. So the colors that I have, and I put 5 yards of the floss on each of these. This is Avatar, this is Aqua, and this is Summer. So this is going to be another giveaway that I'm going to do. You will get all 3 of these. I don't know what question I'm going to ask, though. Tell me which one of these colorways is your favorite. Avatar, Summer, or Aqua. So you're getting 5 yards of each of those, 3 of the little Sajou thread winders, and then 3 of my little business cards floss holders. And it does say, again, what the colorway is. So tell me which one of these colorways is your favorite. You use in your comment Mrs. Sadis, so that I know which this is about. So say, I like Mrs. Sadis Aqua the best. And Sadis is spelled S-E-D-A-S. Misas Sedas. Sedas means silk in Spanish. All right. So those were my giveaways. I mentioned in my last video that I showed you the Threads That Bind layer cake that I got. I got 2 more of those. I think one came right before I left, and the other one was in my mail when I got back. So this is, don't fall down. This is, what is it? It is Flower Pot. So this is the next layer cake. I think this was April. Yeah, this was April. And so this means that Fat Quarter Shop is getting totally caught up, I think, on their fabric clubs. There was a bit of delay, and I think we all were aware of that, no matter where we might be shopping for our fabric. So that is the April one. May was waiting for me when I got home, and that is this one called Stitched by Fig Tree and Company. And I don't know whether you can really see the colors of fabric in here. This one's really pretty. And the reason I'm getting these is because I want to build up my stash of finishing fabrics. I don't have a very good stash of finishing fabrics, so oftentimes I don't finish something because I'm not happy with what I have. So I hope eventually, over time, this will really give me a good collection. I just got a notice that the June kit, the June Layer Cake Club, shipped like this morning or yesterday afternoon. I think I got that shipping notice. So I think that Fat Quarter Shop at least is getting all caught up on these things. All right, so that is that. I don't know what to go to next. Let me go through the goodies that we got at StitchCon. Now, I am totally undecided whether to go through all of the floss drops or not. I may film it and then decide to cut some of it out because there's so much. First and foremost, though, this is the goodie bag. So it's this wonderful canvas. And that's you know, it's not stitched. I said that. But it's this beautiful canvas quality tote. And we got this wonderful, now I think they do this every year. Look how pretty that is. This beautiful little notebook. This is made by Journal Books. So it's this, I don't know whether it's probably not real leather on the top, but it's definitely real cork. And then they emboss it with the word StitchCon and include this pen. Oh, and the pen has a, like a touch screen thingy on it. So just a really great little notebook. And I know a lot of people were like passing these around to get addresses. They included a bunch of stickers because we're all into stickers, right? For our book of days and our planners. Whoop. So we have Keepsakes, the Stitchy Bus, StitchCon, and a bigger one of Keepsakes. And look, 310. That's the kitty. And then another little StitchCon. So that's very clever. Oh, let's see. And then we have the StitchCon passport. I did not participate in the Smalls Exchange this year. It was just one thing too much. So then we have the passport that has all the information about Cincinnati, things to do, places to eat, all that fun stuff, and how StitchCon works. And then a list of the floss tubers. So, that is that. Now, I got a few gifts from people who have been watching me for a long time and knew that they were going to be at StitchCon A with me, and just wanted to say hello and thank you in kind of a more special way than the rest of the, you know, general floss drops and that kind of thing. First and foremost, Tammy Blaylock. Tammy is the one, I've shown you her project bags a number of times. I've gotten several of them. Oh please, the knitting bag that I'm using for my new start, the SoLite pattern by Laura Nelkin. This is a Tammy Blaylock bag. I just flung the skein of yarn all over the place. So she wanted to say thank you for me helping her grow her business. So she provided this little floss ring. So it does have her business card on it, and it has her information on the back. But she included, so this little safety pin has this little bead charm, but it also has the alphabet beads that say JHC, Jan Hicks Creates. How awesome is that? As well as a couple of heart charms and Made with Love. So that is awesome. And then she also gave me a needle minder and a skein of, let's see, this is 3766, because she knows my favorite color is turquoise. Thank you, Tammy. I did buy another one of her bags. She was one of the trunk shows at StitchCon, so I didn't really talk much about the Annex except for my own thing. I believe Barbara said that there were like 20 different trunk shows in the Annex. They were not all designers, so like Carol or Tammy had her bags there, and I think she did really well. I looked at the Annex again. I left Sunday morning, so I wasn't there Sunday. So at some point on Saturday afternoon, I went and checked things again. I think after it closed at 4 o'clock, or right before it was closing at 4 o'clock. And most of her bags were gone. So Tammy, it looks like you did pretty good too. So you had everybody from the designers to makers like that. Fortnite Fabrics, Atomic Ranch, which I had never heard of, Grace Notes, Steel City Stitchers. You had people making needle minders and wooden boxes and floss organizer things. Just, you know, the whole realm of makers. So it was just a great little shopping experience, which I will be showing you shortly. All right, Sandy England is another woman who has been following me for a long time. She gave me a little bag. It had a couple of Ghirardelli chocolate things. So these were like things from her area. I think she's in California. California Poppy needle minder. Covered button. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. Some Jelly Bellies. The Ghirardelli chocolates are gone. No surprise there. I shared one with Mike. So that is from Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. This is from Athena Spore. Athena is the maker of the Stitching Goddess t-shirts. They're actually in the wash. I don't have one to show you right here, and I'll probably be wearing them in future videos. But anyways, Athena thanked me for buying from her and gave me this little sticker as well as a sweet thank you note. She doesn't just do like logo type shirts. She also does like just kind of general stitching saying shirts, you know, with really cute sayings on them. I will be linking her Facebook group below. I think I did link it in the last one as well. All right, from Laura Duet, the cereal starter part of Brenda and the cereal starter. Laura was at my weekend. She gave me, this is her floss drops. And then she also, this is so clever, she also gave me a needle minder that is the state of Idaho. Do you see that? So this came from one of the child's puzzles that were, you know, the different states. Isn't that an awesome idea? So Idaho. Over here, you can see it has Pocatello on it. Idaho Falls is just north of Pocatello. I am not sure what this thingy is, this round thing here. So for any of you that are longer time Idaho residents than I am, can you give me a clue what that is? Because I don't know. Maybe I should take it. Tomorrow is our next stitching group of the Eastern Idaho Stitchers, our stitching get-together. I should take this with me and see if anybody there knows. Anyways, thank you, Laura. It was so good to see you again and talk to you a little bit. So many people to talk to. Last but not least, Mary Gorden. She Cave Stitcher. Mary is another one who has watched me from Maryland to Hawaii to San Antonio to Idaho. I'm telling you, you guys who have stuck with me so long, you're suckers for punishment is what you are. She gave me a really sweet thank you card, just kind of thanking me for everything I do for the community, and that she enjoys how much she's learned through me, and wishing we could live closer together because we'd be great stitching buddies. A sweet little organza bag with bee thread drops and this really pretty zipper pull charm, and then a little bee needle minder. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sticking with me all this time, and all of you who have. Like I said, I think you're suckers for punishment, but I'm glad you're here. All right. Next, we have all the needle minders. And I'll just go through these so fast. So many of them are just so clever. Snoopy, a little Snoopy covered button. This is from Lynn X Stitches. And there are some of these that don't have any identifying information on them. So forgive me if I don't say who it's from or say thank you. It's because I don't know who it's from. There were so many times, I'd be off wandering somewhere, or I'd be off for lunch or dinner or whatever, and come back and there'd be an additional pile of stuff at my place. Whenever you have these things to go out, you just kind of walk around putting them all on all the places. So whether somebody's there or not. Isn't that butterfly gorgeous? I love that. This one is from B's and T's Stitching. And I will, again, I'm going to try and note all these down below, but there's so many. Beautiful little teapot. Julie Dean, a little sunflower charm. Nan's Needlework Notions, Diane Altmeyer. Rebel Stitcher. She has a fantastic pattern. You guys have probably seen it already. I'll be showing you that in a little bit. I'm going to be starting with Carolyn. I think it's a birthday start next year. This is from Alexis. Yeah, Alexis, My Amazing World. I need to pull this one out. Carolyn and I were like, how in the world did she do this? Look at this tiny little tomato. Look at that. I don't know how you would stitch that. I mean, it's so tiny. You have to have very dexterous fingers to do something that tiny. Isn't that cute? I love that. I got a little red, white, and blue cupcake from somebody. This is from Julie Dixon, CJ Stitching Corner. Okay, I remember that correctly. She was one of my table mates. Awesome, awesome to get to know her. I don't know where this came from, but it has a sheep on it. I think I lost the back magnet. It has a sheep on it. What's not to love? Another butterfly. This is from Mary Beth and Lee Ann. Stitching in Southwest Virginia. Susan Seitz, Criminally Creative Podcast. Oh, she's also on Ravelry as a Legal Eagle. That sounds familiar. I think I must know her from there. Straight Out of Thread. I don't know where this came from. If any of you have these, or you know, you're the owners of these, please let me know. I think these ones came from the same bin that was being passed around. I got the thimble, and then somebody said I needed to get the Army one because Mike was in the Army. So, you know, I'm not one to argue with people. And then this sweet little elephant charm. I love that. Okay, so that is the needle minders and gifts. All right. Floss drops. So on the top, I might just, well, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So Black Needle Society was represented there. Laura Landis and her daughter were both there, and they handed out their goodies in this absolutely fantastic little box. That is wonderful. I think what I'm going to do is just show you the ones that really kind of stood out in my mind. So Black Needle Society provided us with this little keychain with a ruler, a sticker. They have thread drops and the ring to go with it. There were many of us that did not punch the holes in our thread drops. I was one of those. I would say half the people did, half the people didn't. I'm going to have to get some hole punches. I think I have one hole punch that's just, yeah. I just have a regular hole punch, so I'm going to need to get the bigger ones to do the other hole. All right, so that is, and I'm having a hard time getting the Black Needle Society box back together. All right, we're just going to put that down there. I believe it was Pam Telford, if I'm remembering that correctly, who made these awesome little things. I assume you made them, Pam. Facial round, so it's just crocheted cotton round. Isn't that brilliant? Again, reduce, reuse, recycle. So instead of getting the little white things that you throw them all away, little cotton washcloth type things. I think that's brilliant. Thank you, Pam. That's the kind of thing I love. Somebody made a bunch of these amazing little things. So it's a little art holder with made, you know, it's just like a little pouch, but it's round and it's on this, the little words on the little embroidery hoop. Crab fabric, blue crab. Isn't that brilliant? I think that is so smart. Let's see, what else do I have in here? From Rika, the House of Stitch and Stash, she made these beautiful floss cards with this beautiful little floss ring decor. Isn't that pretty? She has such great style. Let's see, what else did I want to show you? Oh, Carla Pagan. I'm sure you all have seen this, but Carla turned 50 on Saturday, and she gave, I don't know whether she had one of these for everybody, these little tins that says 50 on it. You'll notice it's black. Floss drops, all with like celebrating the big 5-0, another year down, but a lot more to come. Happy birthday to me. Start what you want to start, stitch what you want to stitch. Follow me on Flosstube at Craft Addict. So those floss cards with a couple charms on them. A skein of black floss. Another little, I love this little like charm needle minder with a little jewel on it. And then a John James Petite size 26, which I guess is her favorite needle. So thank you, Carla. That is just so brilliant. And once again, happy birthday. Oh my goodness. It's just packed full in here. This is from Donna White. Her Insta is Police Mom, her Instagram name. A little thread bed with a little tomato on it. Isn't that sweet? Beautiful. Carolyn, my dear Carolyn. So instead of doing floss drops, because she doesn't use floss drops, she made these project cards and put them in these little plastic holders. So it has your information on the back. And she had Athena, Stitching Goddess, create this logo for her. She also had a t-shirt made of it. So that is brilliant. It's just so cute. Somebody was handing out the Van Gogh artwork, a little notebook and bookmark. And it seems to me there was something else to go along with this, but I couldn't find it. I mean, they're just so many floss drops. This one was cool. Sarah, Memphis Sarah. She got pictures, because she's from Memphis, so different pictures of different, you know, major attractions in Memphis, and made those into floss drops. So I thought that was pretty clever. Trixie Tricycle gave us this little pouch with her floss drops in it, as well as this little zipper pull charm, as well as these floss drops. So, let's see, I mean, just so many. This is from, let's see, Kathy Christner, I believe, is also the artist and the stitcher. This is her artwork she made floss drops from. I mean, it just goes on and on. Oh, of course, we can't forget Little Stitcher and her mom. Nicole Ketterman. This is, oh, the Proper Stitcher. Pam and Steph's. Kim Roop of West Virginia. Thank you, Kim, for putting your identifying information on it. I feel bad that, you know, some of these I can't identify, but Carlene Jewett. Emily Gale. This is also from Alexis, My Amazing World. I love that. She said, I think she was in New Orleans, and you know, the artists on the street who do caricatures, that was what that artwork is. I think that's brilliant. Let's see. Marcia Cruz, I believe. This one doesn't have a name on it, nor do these, but I thought that was brilliant with the scrapbook paper. So Suzanne, I love this one. Retreat, you say? I'll pack on my bags. Suzanne Chimino. This is X-Stitch Fancies, Cross Stitch Fancies. Phyllis, who has a cat named Pancake. I love that. Noelle Weston. And you see some of these are punched, some of these aren't. These are gorgeous. It says the name, but I don't have my glasses on. I can't read it. It's too small. Let's see. Oh, these were cool. Let's see. I don't think these had a name on it. So these are tomatoes. And let me just say, Mary Gorden, She Cave Stitcher, showed on Instagram, she got a spinner, a jewelry spinner that has, like, you know, hooks on it. And that's where she puts all of her floss drops, so she can see them. They're all kind of displayed, and I'm going to get one of those. One of you had been in Paris and went to Sajou, in the Sajou store in Paris, and had pictures that you made into floss drops. And I can remember having the conversation about them, but I don't know who you are. So let me know. This is Floss Organizer. Lots of pens. all with names on them. Boogie Stitchers. Oh, this is beautiful. Judy, City Stitcher, she did a chatelaine. This is the Egypt Garden mandala and had that put on her floss drops. That's gorgeous. Michelle Guffey. This I thought was really clever. These are cards. These are playing cards that she made into floss drops. I think that is so clever. Again, reduce, reuse, recycle, right? Then we have Becky Parker. She was, like I said, one of my table mates, and her dog Bruno. Well, I guess that's her dog Bruno. And then these pretty ones. All right, so that is, oh, and Ryan Mack, Wild Violet, a card, and then her floss drops. So that is the avalanche of floss drops. Just so fun to see everybody's different take on it, whether it's pictures or their logo or, you know, whatever. It's just fun to see everybody's creativity. And like I said, the creativity in that room was astounding. Okay, I think that's all of that. Now, haul. I went to StitchCon with the intention of not getting very much. There, as always, there was a freebie table. I didn't look at it a whole lot, but I did kind of wander by it once and kind of ruffled through things a little bit. And this is the only thing I got. So I didn't get much from the freebie table. That has to count for something, right? So this is Homespun Elegance, Oh Spring. And it says, Oh Spring, I surely love thee. Actually, it says, I surely love you, E-W-E. Get it? It has a sheep, you. So that had to come home with me. The other thing that came home with me was headed for the freebie table, but didn't make it there. I believe that this was, Andrea brought some stuff. One of my table mates, Andrea Schultz, brought some stuff for the freebie table, but she passed it around our table first, and this came home with me. This is Sheepish Designs Sing to Spring. Again, because I love spring. I will change all of these colors. I don't like the colors at all, but I love the sentiment and the kind of, it's hard. The picture does not do it justice at all. Okay. Next on my pile is what I got at Keepsakes. So let me start. Okay. One of the things that I did kind of have in the back of my brain as I was shopping was fabric for the Antonia sampler. I looked through my fabric before I left, and I didn't really see anything that I thought would work well with it. So that was kind of in the back of my mind. One of the things I got was, this is 46 count XG Designs Light Nougat. So just a very simple, neutral, not a whole lot of modeling. The gorgeous XG Design fabric smell. So that came from Keepsakes. I also knew while I was at Keepsakes that I wanted to get some of the other designs, patterns from Market that I hadn't been able to find. So I was able to find a few more of those. Summer House Stitchworks Delft Blues and Summer House Stitchworks Spring Awakens. I do want to get the Winter is Coming one as well. I don't have that one yet. Seasons of the Heart by Brenda Gervais. So that's the one with the 4 different seasons in one booklet. And then Brenda Gervais' Rejoice Evermore. So those are new ones that I got. I also got an older one by Chessie and Me called Lulu's Flock, because sheep. And I love Chessie and Me. And then I also got these. Now, a while ago, I showed you the Samsara Designs patterns, the flock. This is a series of 12. I have a bunch of them, but I don't have all of them. I had a list somewhere that I had noted which ones I still needed. I was sure it was in my notes app in my phone. I could not find it. I was pretty sure it's the last 4 or 5 that I needed, so I got the ones that they had there at Keepsakes. So this is 8 of 12, 9 of 12, and 10 of 12. So Samsara Designs has retired. I had asked at Keepsakes if they could maybe get in touch with her and see if I could get these other patterns. They did, but I don't think they ever heard back, is the last thing I heard from Janine. So yeah, as I find them, I get them. I need to look and see what I have now. And if any of you have this, either don't want it or have stitched it and don't want it anymore, let me know if you wouldn't mind. Okay, then there's the Annex. So the way the Annex worked is you had fabric that were all laid out in yard cuts, and then you could get it cut into like a 1/4 yard or a 1/2 yard. There was quite a line at the fabric table, and that was dangerous because we were all looking at each other's fabrics. Oh, how much of that do you want? Okay, so you only want a 1/4. I'm going to get the other 1/4 of that. Okay, I'm going to get a 1/4. You're going to get a 1/2. You're going to, we were all like sharing each other's, which worked well. And enabling each other. That's another major word at StitchCon, enabling. My justification for these is this isn't fabric that's easy to get anyplace else, so I got it while I could. The first one is by Grace Notes. They were there, the mother-daughter team Grace Notes. The color is Phillip, the count is 46 count linen. So again, a possibility for the Antonia sampler. I'll have to see how the colors look all laid out on it. So like I said, I'm going to have a bright colorway and a faded colorway. It's going to be charted in Vicki Clayton silks and overdyed flosses and in DMCs. This next fabric is Vapors by Atomic Ranch. I've never heard of Atomic Ranch before. 46 count linen. A mottled blue-gray. It is gorgeous. This is not one that is a candidate for that sampler. It just had to come home with me. Beautiful, beautiful modeling. Also by Atomic Ranch. This one is called Vanilla Cream, and all of these are fat quarters. This is called Vanilla Cream. This is, again, 46 count. There is nothing super special about this. It's just a beautiful neutral. Not a lot of modeling. This could be a candidate for that sampler as well. This is called Magnificent, and it truly is. It is Fortnite Fabrics, 46 count linen, and it's pinky gorgeousness. So pretty. I hope these are coming through on the video. I'm holding them back because the color always seems to be more accurate back here. And the hits go on. This is another Atomic Ranch. Gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. And I will say there's not really any information on their tags about where to find this, like if you can find it on Facebook or whatever. But anyways, Atomic Ranch Freeze 40 count Freeze, F-R-I-E-Z-E. This was a very popular colorway. And this, as I was standing in line, I hope you can see the color. So it's kind of a mottled green, right? It looks like a mottled green for the most part. I was holding the whole yard of fabric in my arms as I was waiting to move up to have it cut. So people were like, oh, that's really pretty. Let me see that. And I said, this fabric's magic because you look at it and it's green. And then you open it up and it's got this gorgeous, creamy, buttery, just beautiful, beautiful fabric. A lot of people are using this in my Meditation Garden Sal for that. So if you are thinking about doing that and you are at StitchCon, that is a fantastic option. Like I said, I will need to search and see if I can find where to find their fabrics. Last but not least in the fabric world is Steel City Stitchers 40 count. They do not name their fabrics, but this is a gorgeous linen-y brown. Beautiful. Beautiful modeling. Okay, so that's all the fabric. I didn't get a whole lot of charts there. I got a few. First one, Heart and Hand, Patchwork Sheep. Do you see a theme here? That one had to come home with me. This one, I mentioned Rebel Stitcher's design. This is called Women of Honor Sampler. It is a sampler or a copyright from this year, so it is a fairly new one. Carolyn and I will be starting this in our birthday month next year, so March 2023. Andrea Schultz is going to be starting it sooner rather than later. She couldn't wait that long. So Rebel Stitchers Designs. It says, in case you couldn't read it, it says Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Ida B. Wells, Edith Windsor, Malala Yousafzai, Shirley Chisholm, Mae Jemison, Rosa Parks, Jane Goodall, Susan B. Anthony, Billie Jean King, Harriet Tubman, Kamala Harris. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. And that's a quote by Alice Walker. And I think this spoke to so many of us there that, yeah, I have a feeling she sold out of these. I think she also had a needle minder to go with it of this little bird down here. So that's brilliant. I got Kathy Barrick's a Dutch sampler. Kathy Barrick and Liz Matthews both had trunk shows in the Annex. Liz Matthews was there at Weekend B, so it was absolutely a pleasure to meet Liz and talk to her for just a little bit. This is another case of pictures not doing it justice. This is Havana fabric. I think the fabric color shows better here than it does here, but these threads pop on this color. And I have some Havana hanging over there. And then last but not least, as far as charts is concerned, is Sue Hillis's. This is called A Wintry Mix. This was a model in the trunk show. Sue Hillis, of course, had a huge trunk show there. So this was one of the models, and I fell in love with it, and Carolyn did too. So this will be a new start for us in the year of Jan and Carolyn. I think December 1st, we're going to be starting that. So beautiful. And then truly last but not least, for the StitchCon Annex Keepsakes portion of the show, we have the Tammy Blaylock project bag. She had so many beautiful bags with beautiful fabrics, but this is the one that really spoke to me this time. So it has the hoops with the different designs in them. The back fabric is scissors. The inside's just a sweet white. She always includes this little hook inside the bag, the project tag with her business card. It doesn't have anything on the back, so you could use it as you want, as well as a little charm on the scissors or on the zipper. So that is my newest Creative Country Girl, Tammy Blaylock project bag. And again, I will put her website listed below. Okay. Next. Did I mention that I stopped at the Country Sampler on the way home? That store is amazing. And I want to give a shout out to Linda Austin. Linda works at the Country Sampler. When I was standing in line to register for StitchCon, you just chatter with the people standing around you. And I was standing next to this woman, and you talk about this, that, and the other. And I mentioned that we were going to be stopping in Spring Green on the way home, and I was going to get to go to the Country Sampler. And she said, "Oh, I work there. Are you working Monday?" She says, "I sure am working Monday." I'm like, "Oh, yay." So I got to see Linda again at Country Sampler on Monday, and she helped me find some different things. She helped me spend money, basically. So, hi, Linda. Thank you so much again for your help. It was amazing. Amazing. And like I said, I did a bunch of videos there, so I will be editing all those and putting those together into a separate video. All right. One of the things that's striking, I think, about the models, not only that they have them in these vignettes that kind of show them like you could display them in your home if you had a home as beautiful as what they do at the Country Sampler, but they change they do a lot of color conversions for their patterns. So there were several designs there that I've seen many times before that have never really struck me before, but with the color changes that they did there, yeah, hook, line, and sinker. First of all, I did get some floss. I mentioned that that Carolyn had asked me to design something with a hot air balloon and Quakers. As I was thinking about it, I decided I am going to do a seasonal series with those kind of themes. The first one will be fall, and these are the colors that I have for it so far. So it will be charted and overdyes. Carolyn did help me choose the palette for this, and it will be called Carolyn's Balloons. So Carolyn's Balloons, fall, winter, spring, summer. So that is the palette for the first one. I don't know when I'm going to start charting it, but it's cogitating in my brain. They have the design Regina Heibel by Brenda Gervais out front and center at Country Sampler. And the fabric they used was scrumptious, so some of it needed to come home with me. I already have the pattern. Vicki Clayton does have a silk pack for that I will be getting at some point. It is the one that came out in case you're not familiar with it, it's the one that came out at market this year of hers, the reproduction that's the paler colors. Just stunning. The fabric they used was antique lace by Seraphim. And so the modeling just really makes it. So there is that fabric. This is a 40 count. And they also had cuts for the small that is also charted in that pattern. So I got that as well. So I need to put this, and this will probably be a Sampler September start for me. So I just need to get the silks yet. So that is going to go back in there so it all stays together. All right. I'm a sucker for blue greens is what I am. I've wanted some eucalyptus by Fox and Rabbit for a while, and Country Sampler had it. They also had some of their River Gum, which is another darker blue green. So both of those came home with me. These are both, let's see, these are both 46 counts. So this is eucalyptus. And this is River Gum. So basically just a shade lighter and a shade darker of my kind of colors. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. No plans for these just yet. Eucalyptus and River Gum. All right. One of the things that I've seen several times in the Country Sampler newsletter. And if you don't get that, I highly recommend that you go to their website and sign up for it. So many gorgeous things in it. But they've shown a number of times their fabric roll. I actually have a fabric roll that I used to take my samples with me to put on the brag table. Samples, that's not the right word. Finished product, finished designs, hoity-toity, shades of gold, sewing box sampler 2, and then autumn flourish, your spring flourish and summer flourish, autumn and winter. No, autumn and spring. Oh my God. This one here, this one that says summer, that's the one that went with me, as well as autumn, which I don't have framed yet. Anyways, I have a sampler roll, project roll that I rolled them up on so they didn't get all wrinkled and folded. Works perfectly. So I love the idea of having another one. So they have a pattern here, and they have the pull noodle and the fabric, all, as well as the tie, all rolled up, ready to go. So you can make one of your own. They have 2 different colorways, 2 or 3 different colors that you can make this out of. So I got one of those. I asked them, the lady at checkout, if it's a lot of sewing. If it's just straight seams, I think I can handle it. She said it's not too bad. Okay. This is one of those that I've seen over and over again, and it never really did much for me. But when I saw the sample in the store, the model, because the colors were changed, it wowed me. Fenniscow's Hall by Heartstring Samplery. They provide the color conversion. It was just, I can't describe it. It was gorgeous. I do have it in the video, so you'll see that. This one as well. So this is a $17.99 Mother Sampler by Needlework Press. Bright colors here, right? Bright colors are usually my jam. The colors they did it in were all muted shades of, I want to say, whites and golds. It was perfection. And again, you'll see it in the video. Yeah, so that had to come home with me. And then last but not least, again, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I love band samplers. I prefer band samplers over the more traditional samplers. I also like Spanish and Mexican samplers over the more traditional samplers, which is why I seem to be getting a collection of Spanish samplers. I have another one coming on the way, by the way, that is coming from Spain. Anyways, Anne Wright, 1726. This also has a color conversion. So that ends the country sampler portion of this video. Now we're going to turn to the stuff that was waiting for me when we got home. Some of this is orders. Some of it is stuff from Fat Quarter Shop. Some of it is stuff that I got before I left, but after my last video. And this next bundle falls into that category. So as I was frantically trying to finish my samplings in lace, especially working on the ruched border, the ruched beaded border of the one pillow, I realized that I didn't have enough finishing materials. It seems to be a theme. Knowing that I was going to be doing those sets for the other seasons, so that one was summer, so I have fall next, and then winter and spring, I decided to get a bunch of what's actually silk sari ribbon to do finishing with. I don't remember the website or the Etsy shop that I got these from, but I will look that up and put it down below when I'm doing the video. So these are a bunch of hand-dyed silk sari ribbons that I think either with ruching with beads, or I think even if I could like twist some of them together, that they will make gorgeous, look how gorgeous that one is, edgings. So yeah, I got a nice variety of the different colors that my different seasons are, so that hopefully I'll have what I need when it comes time to finish those. I also got the next set of fine floss from the Fine Floss Club at Fat Quarter Shop. So this is NPI Silk. This is the salmon pink range. And some of these are the ones that I used in my spring seasons of lace. So that, and again, it's a club. So if you want to join it and have a way to get, you know, build up your stash of silk, that's a perfect way. And especially MPI silk, it's gorgeous. Okay, I needed to order another skein of one of the cottage garden threads for my pillow, the Palace of the Winds design, just to be sure I have plenty. And because you're not just going to order a skein of floss, right? I ordered the fragments. This is the new Fragments in Time by Summer House Stitch Works 2022. So these are the first 2 patterns of those. I love collecting those. I love stitching them. I have last year's started. The next in the Into the Woods, this comes from Acorns and Threads. I am on an auto ship for that. So that's the Bald Eagle, which is stunning. So cool. And then coming to me from Fat Quarter Shop is, coming to me as a promoter from Fat Quarter Shop as opposed to an order, is this awesome little enamel bee needle minder. Super cute. Tea Time. This is one of their patterns from the Stitchy box. What is this called? Stitch Quarterly. That's what their box is called. So this was one of the recent ones from that. This is so pretty. And again, their quarterly box, cross stitch box, is filled with goodies. And this is the pattern. It always has a pattern in it. And then Sleigh Ride. So these will be giveaways at some future date. All right, last but not least, a couple things that I had ordered a while ago that finally made it. Well, first of all, this isn't ordered a while ago. This is the StitchCon parting gift. They put together what they call a take and make. So it's the lobster claw, the ring, and several different charms, one of which is 2022, one of which says, what's that say? Best. That says best, and then scissors. So you can make your own little scissor fob or zipper fob or whatever you want to do with it. So that was from StitchCon. Kohana scissors. I had ordered, whenever the spring collection came out, I had ordered them from Hobby House Needleworks in New York. And for any of you that may have ordered these, you know that they were getting shipments in and sending out kind of first come, first serve order from those that ordered these. So I finally got mine. So I did get that green color because it's so pretty. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going to show you this pile. So Isabel from Reflet de Soie had posted on Instagram maybe a couple weeks before StitchCon. Do you notice how everything is like before StitchCon and after StitchCon? It's like a new time frame in my world. Before StitchCon, after StitchCon. So a few weeks, maybe up to a month before StitchCon, Isabel had posted that she was putting together a Summer in France box. And I thought, you know, that sounds interesting. I love her patterns. I think I'll see what that's about. I looked and I thought the price wasn't too awfully bad coming from France. Heck, why not? So it was waiting for me whenever I got home. And it consists of, it's going to be hard to show you. So she included one little pattern and I can't, the chart's on the back of this card, so I can't show you. But this is the pattern G Leger, which I do have. But on the chart, she kind of recreated, for a small, she took this little bird, or not little bird, that's not a bird, that's an apple. It does have a bird on it, and then a border, and created a little small design. So that's what's on the back of this. But more importantly, there are 7 of these packages, and you know, I thought as I was opening it, oh, I should do an unboxing. Now this was yesterday afternoon. We got home about 11:30 yesterday afternoon, late morning. Got the trailer and the car all unpacked, and then I started to open all the mail and all the packages that had come while we were gone. And as I was opening this box, I thought, you know, I should do an unboxing. But I am in no mood to hook up a video and get started on that. So yeah, forget the unboxing. You just get to see what's after. And there's not a whole lot I can actually show you. And let me explain why. So there are 7 of these wrapped in tissue paper. And inside, she has like a cover sheet of a part of a cross-stitch pattern, but it's not really charted. It's just like a picture of an antique cross-stitch pattern. And then underneath that, she has a couple of skeins. I think most of these are soie, a vera soie, yeah, soie d'Alger, either silk, there's some pearls, and then some other kind of treat. There's like a couple things with this candy, there's a thing with perfume, yeah, a couple different treats throughout it. Each package has at least 2 of these skeins, and then it has the design. So the design is Antoinette Dupois, or Dupas. It only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors. She has it charted in DMC as well as the soie d'Alger. She does not have a cover photo of what the finished piece looks like. She does have, and I haven't checked totally, but it seems like the colors that come in each one of these, like the silk, I'm running out of words. These things don't necessarily match what is needed for the pattern. So like this is 4634, that's not on the pattern. This is 2134, that is not called for in the pattern. So I think these are just like random silks. This is a page map down here. So you can see it's a fairly large pattern. I can tell you that it's all alphabet, a few little motifs, and then a border around it. I can't show you because the rest of the pages are the chart. The letters are, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, about 48 stitches high. So they're big. So yeah, each one of these little packets contains, I guess, a couple sections of this. Okay, yeah. So you'll see it says Sema 1, Sema 2. Well, Sema 1, Sema 1. So that's 2 pages in this. So it's week 1, week 2, week 3. Now, I don't know whether, I have not seen, and there wasn't any information in here, like that this is supposed to be a stitch along. The stitch count is 303 by 284. But since she has it divided like that, it probably is supposed to be a stitch along. I'm apparently missing the memo. But anyway, I think it's going to be a gorgeous soie d'Alger or reflet de soie pattern. Maybe I will make this a new start for Sampler September as well. I hope to get this Spanish one charted by Sampler September, and I have a wool one that I had gotten a while ago that I would like to get charted in time for Sampler September. So anyways, there are 7 of these little packets in this box. It is really, really cool. I'm so glad that I got that. I'm not going to go through and show it to you because, like I said, there's not a whole lot to see. And these cover sheets have nothing to do with the pattern. So, I'm just looking. I think that's it. To those of you, again, at StitchCon who showed me so much love, it was amazing. Thank you so much for that. If you're interested in my exclusive after StitchCon B ends, I encourage you to get in touch with Keepsakes. I guess I will try and remember to put their phone number and email down below. I have no way of knowing how many are going to be left. I did order a bunch more, so hopefully there will still be some left. And if not, it will be available, like I said, when I get it back, probably sometime in July, on my Etsy store, as well as all the different outlets that I sell my patterns at. I hope Keepsakes is now going to be one of those. I love you guys. If you ever get a chance, go to StitchCon. Get yourself on the wait list if you are not there already, and go to StitchCon. You will not be sorry. Yes, it is overwhelming. I hope I gave you a little bit of a flavor of that with the different videos I did remember to do, or did have a chance to do, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. I think that is all for me today. I did not remember to bring an angel card over, so I'm just gonna end this here because this is probably long enough. I don't know whether I will get it all edited and uploaded today. It is 1 o'clock. I've been rambling for a while. So anyways, I love you guys. I love the support you give me. I love the community. It's amazing. You guys make this so fun. I will see you on those social media boards, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.